Hi, and welcome to another coin on the Coin Channel. Today I will look at a very difficult coin, which is going to be this one. Now, it is, as I'm sure you can see, has a portrait of a young Victoria on the obverse. If I can get the autofocus to pick it up, and the legend on the obverse, if it will work. Come on, webcam. Simply says Victoria Queen, and it's from India. It's a rupee, and it's dated 1840. The camera is simply not behaving at all. It's not going to focus. Oh, here we go. On the reverse it says East India Company 1 rupee 1840. There we go. It's actually quite nice condition, this one, so which is what you really need for these coins actually. It's 11.64 grams. Oh, there we go. There's the obverse now. 32 mil in diameter. Silver again, I don't know the fineness, but it must be quite high. I'm sure it's 0.9 plus. So the tricky part of these coins is where they were minted. They were minted in Calcutta, Madras and Bombay, and this one is actually minted in Bombay. Now there are some subtle ways of telling the difference. For example, on the obverse, on the excuse me, on the truncation of the neck at the bottom, sometimes there's a small S, which is attributed to a J.T. Smith, who was the master of the mint at Madras in 1840. So if it has a small S initial on the bust, it can be attributed to Madras. As well as that, on the reverse, now this is really tricky. At the bottom here, there's a small ribbon, and the ribbon sprays up on each side. You can just about see it there. Yep. Now, if there is a small V just there on that part of the ribbon, then it is minted in Calcutta. And if the small V is on the other side of that little bit of ribbon that kicks up, it's minted in Madras. And if there is no little V mark, it's a wee tiny nick, it's a little V, and if there's none of those there at all, then it is minted in Bombay. There's also a lot of variation in the dies with the number of berries. So for example, you have some berries here, and if you look up the sides of the wreath, there are little berries. And there are different numbers of those, usually 34, 35, sometimes more, and those can help differentiate the dies, different dies that were used. Also on the obverse, if I can get a bit of focus again, if you notice she has two ribbons at the top of her hair. On some dies there's a little lick of hair overlaps a ribbon, and in most dies it doesn't. It's just up here, just there. So even though this is a relatively common coin in the round, there are an awful lot of these minted, but there are a lot of different varieties. If you want to go that deep into the subject, to look for different varieties of dyes that were used and different mints that produced them. So this is actually quite a nice one. It's a nice condition. I would say £40, that sort of money. Maybe a bit more, because this is a nice one. So it's a tricky coin to nail down exactly where it's from. But today's coin on the Coin Channel is a 1 rupee East India Company, which of course was the company who first used the word exploited trade in India for Britain. And as time went on and on, they more or less by necessity had to gobble up more of India, and eventually the British government took over the company and took over the administration of the British Raj. And this is one of the rupees that were issued in their name. One of the last coins actually that was issued in their name. The East India Company, I think, first got its charter from Queen Elizabeth I, so it had been around quite a while before Victoria ascended the throne. So there you go, 1 rupee from East India Company, 1840.